But look at this. Somebody has buried toilet bags right here. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Somebody's just buried toilet bags, just like throwing a little bit of gravel over them. Like, this whole area is going to be off limits to camping because a bunch of people can't be bothered to be decent human beings with their garbage. Unreal. We're at Alabama Hills today. If you're wondering why camping is all of a sudden super restricted here and you can't camp west of Movie Road and camping east of Movie Road is still pretty restricted. I just spent 5 minutes picking up trash here at this campsite that we found. It's mostly toilet paper. If you're going to treat public land like a toilet, then we're going to lose access to it. Thank you. In the spring of 2022, we rented a camper van and left town for 10 days with the goal of seeing new things and going to new places between Reno, Nevada and Death Valley. It was an epic trip that we'll never forget. Let's jump right in to part 4. Not all vans have toilets built in. Many of them do, and this Winnebago Solus does. It looks like this. Not spectacular, but it's clean, and it's warm, and it's private. Everything you need a toilet to be. All right, I've seen a lot of demonstrations of what it's like to dump the cassette toilet, but all the demonstrations are with an empty cassette toilet. So we're going to show you what it's like to dump a full cassette toilet. One aspect of adventure travel that most people don't talk about is the fact that you have to deal with your own shit. And as you saw in the beginning of this video, you often have to deal with other people's shit too. A cassette toilet makes dealing with your own, at least, pretty easy. Sloshing, and there's like that weird chemical stuff all over it. And there's water on it too. When you poop inside the van, as long as you do it while sitting on the toilet, it ends up down in the cassette I just pulled out. It has a nozzle on one end, and once you remove the cap, it fits right into the sanitary drain at the RV dump station.
Really? You're doing this like with a full tank showing? Oh, it's going to be gross anyway.
I think this is the vent up here.
That's a great sound. And then you can close it off with this thing.
RV dump stations will have a hose you can use to rinse it off and clean up any mess you might have made.
Do we need to like put water in it?
I don't know how we get water into it. I think we just leave it.
Okay.
I'm going to put the cap back on. Yeah. So now I'm going to put it back.
Wait, we didn't put that thing on.
You throw it in from the top. And that's it. Bada bing, bada boom. Gloves off and burn away. I got a lot of criticism for doing woodworking in flip-flops, but this is appropriate flip-flop activities, I think, right? So that's no big deal. How are we going to get on the road? You know what? Let's just start over. Actually, let's go a little bit further back than that. We've been visiting Alabama Hills for a while. We camped there on our way down to Joshua Tree back in 2018. We were able to set up camp west of Movie Road, up near the big rocks where a lot of the climbing is. Even then, there were a lot of others camped in the area. Kids love exploring around the rocks, climbing, and even more adventurous things. But even then, we found evidence of people being egregiously sloppy with their waste. The most common thing is when people cop a squat and then tuck their toilet paper under a rock. But this was the first time I'd seen full toilet bags, loosely covered with a little bit of decomposed granite. Now, Alabama Hills is a lovely place, and even if you're not into climbing or jumping off of rocks, it's a perfect place for just sitting in the dirt and playing with mini monster trucks. But here's what we did on this trip. What'd you find?
I mean, you will probably fit through our this is very fun, alright? Come here.
What? What? Oh my gosh, where are you? What is that? Nash found a hole back here and just crawled right into it. Can you turn my light on? Having you jump over that chasm the other day,
Oh yeah,
and then
I'm gonna do the same thing.
this crackhead
Oh my god!
4 ways out. How many internet points do you think that'll get me? This whole van trip was about seeing new things in familiar places. And while we've been past it 100 times, we'd never stopped at the Manzanar historic site in Lone Pine. So on our way to Alabama Hills that day, we finally did. I didn't shoot any video there, but the kids talked about it when they stole the GoPro at camp that night.
Hello. I went to Manzanar today, and I got a cassette. And the cameraman over there got an origami. Hello. Yeah. Manzanar is a place where... Cameraman, can you please explain this? Okay, so when Japan bombed the U.S., the U.S. like jerky. Yeah, like we are. I mean, we're not jerky. Not ours. And so they sent the Japanese immigrants and the Japanese Americans in America to camps like Manzanar, and it was like prison. Yeah. Yeah. And they did nothing. Nothing. Did nothing. Not cool. U.S. launched 2 nuclear bombs. That's the first time they've done it. They did that to Hiroshima. So, like, I can't imagine how many people that they killed a lot of people. Yeah. We be jerky, not us. U.S. be jerky. The world was a lot better before humans. No offense to all those humans out there. Yeah. But, our parents told us that this is that was the first time that someone had ever shot 2 nuclear bombs.
So we're camping at Alabama Hills tonight, and one of the most surprising things about this van is how quiet it is. Now the loudest thing in here right now is this Dometic fridge here, which it's not part of the van, it's ours, and it's making just a little brrr, humming noise. But we're at Alabama Hills, like I said, and it's super windy, and it's as windy as we ever camp in. I mean, I'm sure we've camped in windier. The wind gusts are coming. I don't know what the official number is, but inside this part of the van, it's dead quiet. There's no wind whistling through any holes. There's no howling of any kind because of the truck. And then if you were to go up into the tent up there, it's really quiet up there too. There's hardly any noise coming through there, and the sides are buffeting a little bit, but nothing like what you would experience in a tent or even a rooftop tent. So that was definitely a major test that we wanted to test with the van, and I think it's passed fairly well. Very quiet in here. This van has a fridge. It has a Nova Cool. I don't know how big it is, but it's pretty big. Stuff still falls out of it though. But because I didn't really feel like packing that well, I did bring this Dometic. This is a Dometic CFX 55 IM for ice maker, and it opens up here. It holds a ton of stuff. May as well get something to drink out here while we're waiting. Daytime lager. Oh, just dropped that. Maybe I'll replace that with one that's not shaken up. Salsa goes down, that goes down, blueberries go down, raspberries go down. Oh, strawberries, I mean. So, oh, strawberries go here, raspberries go here. There we go. So right under here, it's got, it says ice maker, but it's really some ice trays that these freeze in their little ice trays. We haven't used that yet, but I figured I'd fire that up for drinks tonight. So it's nice to have the fridge, and I've just got it plugged into the power port there, and it's running along the wire there, and the controls are on this side, and it's just been at a solid 37 degrees the whole time. 12 volt DC. That must be what it's drawing. I don't know, or what it's detecting from the battery. The battery in this has been pretty nice. It's got a big, it's actually a Napa gold battery. It's underneath the vehicle, and then the Xantrex solar thing is here, saying 26 volts, 1 amp. That's the, must be, I don't know what all these numbers mean, but it cycles through them. And in the morning, when the sun comes up, it starts charging, and obviously it charges while we drive, but we've had no issues with that at all on this trip. Just so you know, we aren't actually traveling by FTL jump. The Winnebago Solus drives like a regular car, more or less. So I'm sitting in the back seat now, and I'd have to say that it's not super comfortable for a grown person. What do you think? How is it comfortable for the little person?
How dare you?
How dare I? Well, so it's not super comfortable for a grown-up person, and if you had wanted to sit 2 grown-up people here, that would be an even bigger challenge. But it's tolerable, and the kids haven't been complaining about that. They've been complaining about other things. Anyway, we're on our way to Death Valley. Should be cool. So how is this thing to drive on paved roads?
I think it's actually very nice to drive. The cab is comfortable, the seats are comfortable. The vehicle's pretty nimble for as big as it is. I mean, I'm used to driving my Ford truck. It doesn't feel top heavy and it doesn't get really squirrely even in the wind. It feels solid. It's actually pretty quiet on paved roads. I mean, there's not a bunch of stuff rattling around. So I think it's pretty comfortable, actually.
So yeah, the wind noise isn't bad when we're in here, and you know, all the cabinetry and stuff doesn't make much noise at all. So that's a plus. Gets good mileage too. I've been calculating the mileage, and we got 15.4 on the highway, which is good, which is great. We don't get that in the Ford, and we can just barely get that in the Tacoma pulling the trailer. So this is very good, I think, especially given the gas prices. We paid $6.20 in Lone Pine.
The Wild Rose charcoal kilns were completed in 1877 and used wood sourced nearby to create charcoal that was used to power the Modoc Consolidated Mining Company's smelters in the Argus Range 25 miles away. Like most mining structures in the West, they weren't used for very long, and by 1879 they were abandoned. You can visit these and camp at the nearby Wild Rose campground. Now, I don't want to be the guy who tells people what to do, or where you should or shouldn't go. But whatever you do, and wherever you go, when you get there, you cannot shit on the ground and leave it there. You cannot toss your shit bags on the ground and kick some sand over it and leave that there. You cannot treat the wild places like your own personal landfill, and then go on Instagram and complain about government overreach when it all gets taken away. This is our fault. We did this, ourselves. But we can fix it.
There was also toilet bags buried in the sand down there. It's like, why? Who the heck would do that? We picked up a bunch of trash. Like, our dad spent 5 minutes picking up trash. And most of it was toilet paper. Don't be a jerk. Yeah, don't be a jerk. Anyway, littering is not cool. Yeah.